is my first episode. I'm 20. I'm not a teenager anymore.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. Happy birthday.
Thanks. Shout out to me for that, for living 20 years. You're welcome, everybody. I've graced you with this, that I've made it this far. So
And you're still celebrating Halloween?
yeah, this is kind of just like how it is around here. Everything,
Yeah.
either Nightmare Before Christmas or Kiss. You know the band Kiss.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know. Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. But I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it real. I hate Thanksgiving. Hate it. Thanksgiving is the worst holiday. It is. It's just the worst holiday. Easter sucks too, but Thanksgiving is the worst by far. Because especially like it's cold. Like Easter, like at least like you got that. But like
I prefer anyone's where I get gifts.
Me too. That's why my birthday is my favorite holiday. But honestly, no shade to anybody. Like, shout out to everybody that did slay. You know who you are. But like, oh my God. So me and my family, some of them, I have big beef with them. I got big beef with them. And I have all the reason to. And like, some of them just hit me with that card. And I was like looking in the envelope for 20 minutes. I'm like, really? You couldn't even slip a 20 in there? Wow.
That's the unfortunate part of becoming an adult.
But
People stop giving you money.
I'm like, I need it now more than ever.
Right.
Okay? You know?
It would make sense because you would do stuff with that money now as opposed to when you were a child and you took it and bought candy.
Yeah, like I might even go back in there and triple check it right now, like, and just to make sure that there's just nothing in there. You know what I mean?
Are you asking any of your family members who might be watching this at some point to send you some dough?
They are not watching this. They're not.
I feel like when you're not on vacation though, you do work a lot.
I do.
What do they pay you in Bitcoin?
Well, now, like on a real note, it's like literally at least $200 extra a month, just like for like a normal person. And I drive a lot just to like exist and live, just because like gas is so expensive. It's not even funny. Like I had like a full-blown mental breakdown because I put $40 in my gas tank and then I had to get gas the next day. I was like, are you for rizzle?
Did you see Biden has unleashed 50 million barrels of gasoline from our oil reserves?
I'm not sure what that
way. So, all right, let me explain how gas prices work. Because somebody was just telling me just this week, this is all Biden's fault. Gas was super cheap when Trump was the president, blah, blah, blah. So Iran and Saudi Arabia are enemies, and they both produce oil. Saudi Arabia has an endless amount of oil, and Iran doesn't. So by increasing production, they drive down the price. So Iran is getting less money per barrel than they would if production was lower. And so right now, both of those countries are producing less barrels than normal, which is why the price has gone up. So in essence, what the president is doing, and this was a smart move, one of the few he's made thus far, he's unleashing oil reserves that we have so that we can get more gas out there so the price can get lowered.
Right. That's good. Love that.
Yeah. Again, a rare, solid move on Joe Biden's part. Most presidents will talk about the oil reserves and never get around to doing it. So it's nice to see him spring into action.
Well, I'm glad, because literally I cannot afford to live. It like sucks. I'm like, should I get a panini, or am I going to be able to make it home today? What should I? And like, that's the thing. That's why I was like having a full-blown mental breakdown about it the other day. Because to be honest, like I make a decent amount of money for like my age, and like I guess like for what I do, for not having a degree, especially, like, you know what I mean? Like I am a housekeeper, and as most people probably know, like people in like janitorial staff and like that kind of stuff usually get paid like a decent amount. And like I have like a connection, like it's in my family. So like I am so lucky that like I have that like gig. But I'm just like thinking, if I ever wanted to like go and like move up, it would be so hard for me to find another job that like I make as much doing it, you know, and I would actually like be happy in it. Like that, so that drives me absolutely bonkers. Bonkers. And like it just makes it even worse that life is just so expensive, and even with a job that I make more than a normal person, I make a significant more than minimum wage or anything like that, how I still can't afford to live. That's crazy to me. Like that's absolutely insane.
Well, that's the Democrats for you.
I mean, yeah, but also like it's the Democrats, but I just feel like how it's distributed is like so stupid. Like I understand that like everybody has to pay taxes in order for like everybody to like be able to live and everybody to be like happy, but like why am I, we've already had this conversation so many times, but like why am I the one that is having to like pay all those taxes? Like that doesn't make sense, especially when like I'm pretty sure we talked about this on our last episode. The percentage of my income that I pay in taxes is more than what Elon Musk pays in taxes. And like obviously like the actual amount is significantly less, but like of my income, it is so much more, you
Well,
know?
sure, and it hurts you way more than it hurts him.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like it's just crazy how people can get around it. And it's not even just like people like Elon Musk, but like if you have like any money at all, like there's ways that you can like write your stuff off in a way that like most people can't, or like I guess lower income people cannot, you know? And like now I heard that there's like this thing where we're paying like double taxes or something. What's that about? Like, you know, I don't know if that got passed or if that was just like hearsay. Did you hear about like we're gonna have to pay like our taxes at the end of the year, but like if you have like write-offs or whatever, like they're not gonna count anymore, like something like along those lines. So like you almost have to pay twice, you know?
I don't know what that is. I'll have to look into that for you. That I don't know. I hope not, because I'm a big expenses guy.
Yeah, I'm a big expenses gal as well. I ain't got time for that. What do I
Yeah.
look like?
Big shout out to Glenn at Rocky Hill Accountants. You're the man.
Seriously, you're gonna have to really help me out, because like last year I got so screwed on my taxes. Like it's not even funny. I had to pay like $3,000. 3,000. Me? That is crazy.
Glenn tends to turn deficits into profits.
He better working for me, Glenn. Shout out, Glenn. Shout out to his family.
Just talked to Glenn the other day. He's doing great
on Facebook.
He's the man.
So cute and fresh for you. The next thing that I want to talk about is not as cute and fresh. Not as glam. So I want to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, because I feel like I have a little bit of a different perspective than like many people might perceive me to have, especially from like first glance, because I feel like there's so much like nuance in this like case. And I don't know, I feel like people are not really fully knowing like what's going on before they make a judgment about it. And I also feel like the people who are just racist and horrible are just racist and horrible. So yeah, well, I'll just start there. So many people know that Kyle Rittenhouse, he did kill 2 people at a Black Lives Matter rally. And his sentencing was dropped. That man's is not guilty. But a couple things that I have to say to that is, I think number one, they overcharged him like crazy. And I think that they did that intentionally, because they couldn't get him on a murder charge, because there's no way that you can know that he went there to intentionally kill those people, especially if you like watch the video. Like he is not the one who instigated it at first. Where I take issue with it is that he should not have been there at all. And if he did feel the need to be there, you should not be there if you feel like your only line of defense needs to be a gun. If you don't feel like you can defend yourself with any other means than like killing somebody, then you probably shouldn't be there, especially as like a line of defense. And I feel the same way about police officers and all that other stuff. And like obviously with the police, it there's like a different line. Because they come into more than obviously Kyle Rittenhouse did. But I feel the same way that like if your only line of defense is killing somebody, like that just doesn't even make sense. And like there is like a cop body. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could just like kind of look at somebody and be like, that is a cop, you know? Like they're not fit. They're not down with it, you know, a gun is their only line of defense is all I'm trying to say. So, you know, I think that a lot of things need to be changed in this country. But with that being said, I do not think that he should have been there at all. And I think that the charge, if anything, should have been manslaughter because they probably could have gotten him for that. You know, whatever, especially when you see so many other like self-defense cases and like they're in jail. Like you see like so many girls who have like killed their like kidnapper and abuser and like end up in jail. Like that's absolutely insane. And then somebody like Kyle Rittenhouse can walk free. You know, I also don't think that Kyle Rittenhouse is, I hate to say this, but like completely in the wrong because to a certain extent, I do think that it was self-defense in the aspect of I did watch the video and I don't think that he instigated it other than clearly looking like a threat, being a huge white guy with a gun at a Black Lives Matter rally. Like you're obviously going to be seen as a threat, but he didn't like do anything physically to be seen that way until he did get attacked. So, you know, do what you want with that, but I think that his charges were way too much for what actually happened, and they knew that they weren't going to be able to get him all that, and that's why they did what they did.
I think the other issue that stems out of this is the amount of misinformation that made its way through the mainstream media. I think they did a really poor job of reporting on this. You know, here's the thing about you brought up he shouldn't even have been there, and I've heard people say, you know, his parents should be charged with neglect and you know, I think all of those arguments are arguments that could be made. Okay. But I think at the end of the day, you know, you're right. I mean, here's the thing. If somebody pulls a gun on you or check that. If somebody threatens you physically, or if somebody attempts to hit you over the head with a skateboard, or if somebody charges at you with a handgun, I don't really think it matters at that point why you're there, how you got there, what your motivations are to be there. I think when your life is threatened, and I think I'm pretty consistent on this, Victoria, especially, you know, we've talked about police situations and everything in between. If your life is being threatened, and I'm aware of what you were just talking about in that jurisdiction, there have been a lot of women who have been charged with killing their abuser and have been found guilty of killing. And, you know, there should be some uniformity on all this. The more I learned about this case, is Kyle Rittenhouse an asshole? Yeah, I would say so. Is he destined for trouble? Probably. Was this something he instigated? Yeah. Did he put himself in a bad spot? Yeah. Did he break the law? No.
This is the other...
You know what I mean? And that's the problem, Victoria. It's like it's a real fine line.
This is the other thing. I think like morally it's just like so like wrong, and like you did say, like it doesn't matter like when you're in that situation, like the reason for being there, but like I feel like you can't completely write that off because like why did he go there with a huge rifle? And it is like, this is the thing, it's like we'll never know. Did he like really go there because he wanted to like protect people and do the right thing, or did he go there because he was fiending to kill a bunch of Black people? And like we won't know. Like, you know, I just don't understand why you would show up like that unless you're like a complete dunce and like not know that there's going to be some kind of trouble.
Well, if you watch the testimony, you have to believe this kid is a complete moron. That
Well,
he didn't understand that protecting property and basically being opposed to BLM marches could somehow make the crowd hostile towards him. He says he didn't reckon that, or whatever they say down there. So, look, he presented well. He didn't say anything he shouldn't have said. And that's how this works. Is he a Southern white boy, with a howdy doody face? Yes. Is that guy usually not guilty? Yes. I think that's what we're talking about.
definitely inbred.
Let's look on the other end. I'm sure you probably saw earlier today the Ahmaud Arbery guilty verdicts for all three suspects in that case. And I think that's something that we should be happy about. This was a case that Gregory McMichael, Travis McMichael, and William Bryan had basically gotten away with murder for a couple months.
I don't know.
Wasn't Oh yeah. So initially it was self-defense. They shot this black guy who was trying to rob a house, and then video unfolded. The third guy, Brian, had video of the incident, and they basically chased and lynched Ahmaud Arbery, and they killed him because he went by an open house that was under construction. He didn't take anything or do anything wrong. Somebody had stolen from there before, so they assumed it was him because, black, and they killed him. Now, here's my problem in all of these cases where somebody goes and shoots somebody else, because I've also heard it defended by lunatics on the right that I believe it was Joseph Rosenbaum was a pedophile, charged with the anal rape, I guess, of 5 young boys, and is a mentally deranged lunatic. If you watch the video, he was a big instigator, and he wasn't there on either side. He was just instigating to instigate. Guy should have been talking about somebody who shouldn't have been there. That guy was trying to start stuff with Rittenhouse's group, and he wasn't on the other side. That's the weird thing. He was just a guy there, I think, looking for trouble. And I think that's the problem you have when you have these protests and there's no real control. Anybody can show up. And I think when you do see looting and other violent elements, it's just bad people will see a protest and just jump in on it.
This is the thing.
And take advantage of the situation. And it's really unfortunate. But look, it was a mostly white jury in Georgia. They found all 3 of these white guys guilty of the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, and justice was served. And I'll say this, I think the state of Georgia really is starting to turn blue. They're doing the right things, and that's all you can ask for.
I just want to go back to, like, with that case, with the Kyle Rittenhouse case, and with any other case like this, I've heard, like, so many times, and there's obviously, like, so many things about it, and I've seen so many memes on Facebook about it, and just all that kind of stuff about how, obviously he is, like, a pedophile and, like, anally raped all these kids. And, like, my mom did say to me, she was like, how do you think the parents of those kids that he did that to feel now that he's, like, off the streets?
Yeah, but listen, we don't. Vigilante justice is not,
That's what I'm saying.
The whole protest, the protest for that night was about Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake, Kenosha, shot 7 times in the back. And the defense was, well, he had raped a woman a week ago. Okay. And so you arrest him, and he goes to court, and he pleads his case. And most of the time, they think the women are lying. But then when it's the black guy, she's telling the truth 100%. The police are not the judge, jury, and executioner.
Well,
You don't
regardless
get to just
of the
you don't get to
police.
shoot somebody because they're a pedophile.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I like even if I walk into like a Buffalo Wild Wings or a Walgreens right now and I shoot it up and somebody happens to be a sex offender, it doesn't mean that like time is going to get off of my sentence or that like I did good. You know what I mean? Or even if I walk into like a federal state prison like and kill a bunch of prisoners just because they're criminals, or even if this guy did steal from the house, who are you to decide that
Right,
they
but if somebody were trying to defend you, that's exactly what they would say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Victoria's some sort of modern day Dexter. She's just taking out pedophiles and other serial killers.
Yeah.
A hero.
A hero. And like sometimes you do hear of cases like that. Like there's this, I forgot her name, but there's this one lady and she like was like a modern day, she was like a real life Dexter, and like she killed like all these like sex offenders or something. And like she ended up in jail. Like, and and it does suck because like sometimes you like look at those people who do that and you like have sympathy for them and you're like you're doing something that I feel like a lot of people almost like wish that they could do, you know, like serving your own justice. Because I know like a lot of the times like the legal system like doesn't necessarily do what they need to do, especially when this guy who anally raped 5 kids, and that's public knowledge, is even walking around on the streets. That is kind of insane.
Had just been released from a mental institution.
Like that is crazy pants that he was released though. Like that says a lot more about our legal system than it does that guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, or anybody else like in between. You know what I mean? And I feel the same way about the gun laws that are put in place in his state, where this is a thing that is mind blowing to me. It was legal for a 17-year-old to have a gun that size and take it around. Like that is absolutely obscene to me that is like a thing in this country.
50 states, 50 sets of laws.
Yeah, I know, but that is crazy that's not just like a precedent that like you can't
but
just do
if you lived in that area, you would understand. It would make more sense. It's like that in New Hampshire and Vermont. It's like that in northern Maine.
I just
where you would see kids with guns that live on multiple acre properties. That's just kind of like that rural life.
It's like you see kids with guns though, but like you wouldn't expect them to be taking them out of like their house, because that's the whole thing.
Why wouldn't you though? That's what you're seeing on TV.
But I don't really like see that. Like I would assume like people say like, oh, like a gun is for like self-defense or whatever, and there
were BLM protests constantly where there were like militant black guys marching with assault rifles. I mean, it was on TV a lot, and then there were lots of white supremacist groups out there patrolling the street protecting property. If you value property over humans, you're an asshole too. Again, not illegal, but it speaks volumes about what kind of person you are. Also, if you're a bootlicker and you're worshiping the state, then and you're worried about the communist Democrats, I don't think you know what a communist is. Some of these people are so unbelievably blind and hypocritical and really, honestly, at the end of the day, don't know what they're talking about. Anybody who wants to compare these riots to January 6th, delusional. What are you talking about?
Oh, I know.
Get with it.
Crazy. That
Get with it.
Another level, which honestly I haven't even like really like, which is another thing that is like kind of surprising because I definitely like see it now, but like I haven't really heard many people like compare the two, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it's the January 6th thing is just like absolutely so outlandish. Like going into the White House compared to like looting a Target is like just not even in the same realm. Like that is insane. And the fact that even like happened in this country, like that's another thing. Same thing with like the Kyle Rittenhouse case. That just like sets a precedent for how you can act in this country, especially if you're white and especially if you're a guy. A young guy too. Young white men get away with they literally do get away with murder.
No,
So
you're exactly right. And look, all of these cases, are, I think, just typical of what's sort of been happening the last few years. It's not really changed.
I correct my
So,
statement. It was the Capitol building that they stormed, but that's almost even worse because there's more people that are there. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, oh my God,
They're
that was
holding
insane.
like politicians hostage and like threatening to kill them. Different.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
yeah.
hear about
Well, and again,
it.
I hear people make the comparison, and I agree with you. I mean, it just that doesn't hold any water. Those things are not the same.
So the next thing that I want to talk about that is like another thing that I just feel like there needs to be something done. I don't know if it needs to be financial compensation, even though I don't know that that would even make up for anything that these people have gone through. But I want to talk about AstroWorld. And most importantly, I want to talk about how y'all sound mentally ill. Y'all sound absolutely crazy. And I saw your episode of your conspiracy theory show, and I'm sitting
Oh,
there.
good. I didn't know if you had seen it or not.
Like,
I'm not really. I mean, I'm on the show. I'm the executive producer of that program. Um, and I don't think any of them necessarily believe it, but they do like to delve into. And there are a lot of conspiracies around this. You are correct.
Well, that is almost all that I've seen. Like more than like real information about it, it's mostly just like the devil was there that night and he sacrificed these 8 people, and there were 8 Reese's Puffs on the back of the Astro World cereal box, and those symbolize the 8 people that
I
died.
knew it. Yeah.
But there now obviously there's been like way more people that have died, and I just feel like, and I this has been said before, but I feel like rather than Travis Scott necessarily and his demonism being exposed, I feel like we have a lot more schizophrenics and mentally ill in this country than I had perceived. But not just like mentally ill, like, because that's me. But like, y'all are delusional, like, seriously. And I really do feel like it takes so much away from like the people who died and how this like could be prevented, because it could have been prevented in a lot more ways than like Travis Scott being like, I'm gonna do a ritual, you know what I mean? Which like that didn't even like happen, you know what I'm saying? But like that's what they thought. And it's insane. Like this has happened at like so many other concerts in the past. I'm pretty sure it happened at like Pearl Jam one time. A bunch of people died. It happened at like a Grateful Dead concert or something. I'm pretty sure. Like this isn't like a unusual thing, but it is like unusual how it's being handled, especially like it seems almost like it is like a whole conspiracy at this point. The whole aspect, I don't want to like really show any videos because I think that they're like, I don't know, this topic has kind of been like beaten with the stick at this point. Everybody is talking about it. But obviously the people who hold the most responsibility are Travis Scott, the venue, and Live Nation. I don't understand why there wasn't enough security and why there were that many tickets sold, especially when he incited a riot at the one that he had done, like in like I don't think it was the past year. I think it was the year before because of like COVID or whatever. And that's why they like doubled the amount of tickets being sold, but it was in the same venue and they had a problem with half the amount of people in the years before. So why would that work out even at all? He was also telling people like to like rush the stage and to like go down, like take down barriers and all that kind of stuff. And the security compared and like wellness staff, like EMTs, anything like that, compared to people attending is like was such an astronomical difference, and it just didn't even make sense. And that is the reason that this happened, not because he summoned the devil. And like you sound crazy and you're also taking away from any kind of preventive measure that's going to be taken. And I don't know, you're
Well,
just validating
Victoria,
through.
I know I'm not speaking to you when I say this, but there's a lot of people who believe in God and the devil, and that's where evil and goodness comes from, and that Jesus Christ superstar dances on water or whatever. So that magical element. This guy, Travis Scott, is a performer. And who's like that other guy? Little Pimp C. Who was the other guy with the blood and the shoes? Little Nas X.
No, actually, do not even bring them in the same. Do not
Oh
say him.
no, listen, same guy. I thought it was the same person. Listen, these guys they're playing characters because they get it. It's not listen, it's hard to be like a hardcore gangster rapper these days that's already been done and no one else is doing it. So you got to do something new, and these guys pretending they're like wizards and invoking Satan or whatever. It's fantasy.
And
It's
that's
like
why he does what he does.
whatever the case, it's like some Harry Potter shit, and it's all for show. This guy likes to get it's like moshing. He wants to get people all banging into each other and stuff. I'd never go to anything like that. That's just not enjoyable at all, as far as I can tell. But he also scammed his way to fame. You know this?
Yeah, I do know that.
The guy's obviously a giant piece of trash. If Satan was working with somebody, it wouldn't be somebody who's I won't even say it. I was gonna say something nasty. I was gonna start with the C word.
Oh yeah.
Funny. Look who just showed up. All right, Cat. Anyway, that was crazy. That was like I summoned the demon.
That was so fun. I didn't even. Yeah. Love that for you.
That's not even my cat.
No.
That's how weird that was. But yeah, there's a lot of conspiracies out there. Again, I don't think that we don't believe in those conspiracies. I hope you know that.
Yeah, well, also, what I really wanted to talk about, that was the real, love that for you. That was the real issue that I took this, like, rather than just, like, taking a break from, like, the conspiracies and, like, how y'all literally sound like goobers. But, anyways, Drake planned an after party for Travis Scott after the event, and they do have security footage of them there. They went to the closest Dave and Buster's after the show, and 25 minutes into the show, it had been declared like a mass like casualty like event or whatever. So the story had been broken. Like there's no way the homeboys did not know that what had just taken place. And after 8 people had been confirmed dead, they decided to go and play some virtual bowling at Dave and Buster's and get some chicken tenders. And then after that, they went to the strip club. And like that was confirmed too because all the strippers were like, "Oh my God, Drake's here." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand how that is where you lose any kind of respect from me at all, because there's no way that you can sit there and be like, I didn't know. I just like really needed to go play some skee ball. Like, I just wasn't looking at my phone, especially when Kylie Jenner, his wife or fiance or they have a kid together. I don't even think they're together. Like she was like filming all the ambulances and she was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I got to get out of here. So she had to get out of there and put all this stuff on Snapchat, deleted it immediately. But if she knew about it, then there's no way in hell that he did not know about it.
Well, of course he knew about it. He was basically fleeing the scene. And I mean, why wouldn't you? That's way more than I'm sure than he bargained for. And I mean, what are you going to do?
He instigated it. Like, he's telling people to jump off balconies. His homeboy is paralyzed for life. He's inciting riots. He's doing all this stuff. So, like, he is expecting it. And I feel like that is his idea of, like, a good show. He's like, damn, 8 people died at my show. It must have been pretty crazy then. I think he, like, took this as, like, a success rather than him being like, yes, I just sacrificed 8 people to the devil. I think he took it as, like, at my show, like, I'm that much of a headbanger. There's that many people that want to come see me, that people are literally getting suffocated and killed in order to come to my show. I'm the shit. Like, I don't think that there's anything other than that happening right now. And I think that he did not expect people to react the way that they did, especially to him. You know, like I feel like he did not think that people would take this response to it.
What do you think he thought was going to happen? He thought this would be all right? I mean, well,
thinking back on like there have been like a lot of like really fucked up things that have like happened at like concerts like throughout like my generation. Like I most prominent to me because I literally went to this like tour or whatever. So like that is like so scary. But there was a bombing at like an Ariana Grande concert and a bunch of kids died. Like somebody went there like with the intention of like killing like a bunch of literally children. Like that's who goes to that kind of show.
Right.
So, but like after that happened, there was like so much like sympathy for her, like obviously as there should be, because like that is like absolutely horrific thing to like go through to have like a bombing at your show. And I think that Travis Scott thought that he was going to get that same kind of sympathy because I don't think that he thinks that he's the problem or the instigator in this situation. You know what I mean? And I think that
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
it was so lackluster. He thought that he was going to get the same treatment as
Right. But it was a real like, oh, I'm with the fans and blah, 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 and all that.
It's like they're dead. So how are you really gonna console them on that one? You know, I know that this topic is like a little bit overdone, but I still wanted to talk about it because we haven't done an episode in a while and I didn't get to. So, you know.
Well, good. Get all your feelings out.
Yeah, I was on vacation when this happened, and like literally the whole time I was so pissed off. Like I was so mad that this like happened at all, and it was just so upsetting, especially because within like the past month I've been to like so many shows, and like especially ones like not I don't want to say like that because that was absolutely crazy, but like that like you know before you go there that like you might be in a mosh pit, so like you got to prepare yourself. But anybody else who does that like does not try to instigate like that kind of violence. Like that is insane. It's insane. And like if you see somebody like down, like you help them or like try to call somebody. Like that is crazy. And even to like have it in a location where there's like no service or Wi-Fi or anything, like it's a recipe for disaster.
Well, on Conspiracies and Beyond, we actually played some video of Lincoln Park. Had a situation where there was a mosh pit and somebody went down and they stopped the show and started yelling at the people to help the guy up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, obviously I've seen a lot of other instances where I think Oasis, that was a band from the 90s. They did something similar where somebody was assaulting a woman in the crowd and they threw the dude out and stuff. So this guy's a bad dude, and I'm sure he's going to pay some sort of price here. And you're right. I hadn't even thought about that. The Ariana Grande. It was Ariana Grande. That's who it was. Right. Yeah. And I remember how bad she felt. I remember seeing her Instagram or TikTok or whatever she did.
She did like
it was very, you could see she was legitimately upset that had happened and really did. I mean, it seemed very genuine. Whereas this dodo bird, he rubbed his head the whole video. He just kept rubbing his head.
That's so weird. That was another conspiracy that I saw. People were like, he's trying to awaken his third eye. I was like, y'all got problems. For real.
Right. Again, you're talking about people who like believe in like magic and fairy tales. People who read too many graphic novels. They've read too many George Martin novels, or you know what I mean? Like you're talking about people who that here's the funny thing. The people that believe that are the same people that believe COVID's like fake and the moon landing was a hoax and all that. It's all the same crowd. It's there's the overlapping circle is nearly complete.
Well, it's a lot of religious people, and like it's a lot more people than like I would have expected. Like a lot of people that like I like actually like respected and like went to for like their like opinions and stuff like that. And I never would have thought that I would hear anything like this like come out of their mouths. They were like, yeah, like I really do think that it was like a concert from hell. And like I don't mean that to take away from like I know that there were a lot of people there that like said that they literally felt like they were in hell, and I genuinely do believe that. I do believe that.
What even is hell? What even? It's not even a real place.
That is the closest thing to hell that those people will probably ever experience. You know what I'm saying? Like to the metaphorical version of like what hell is. Like if it was like, like as bad as clearly it was, like that is a proper metaphor that like I would understand.
Yeah, right. It's like being
Anything.
stuck at Azkaban.
Like it is literally like a living hell. Like for
Yeah,
like I get it, but
the Dementors. I'm with you.
people who mean that like really though, that's where I'm like, you're
Mhm.
losing me. Yeah, you're losing me. Somebody else that's losing me is literally everybody. I just want to talk about this real quick. I know I've already like said it a couple times, but I just got back from traveling and I like left from Connecticut and I did go to Florida. And the COVID stuff, we all know it's a little bit of a crock pot down there. It's the COVID crock pot. And you know, there's nothing we could really do about that. I had to go. I had to not be here. I had to be down south. I had to be in the warmth. I will kill myself. I hate it here. I hate it when it's 30 degrees. I'm in my house in a comfy. I'm not even in real clothes. I wear a comfy all the time. That ain't right. I look like,
What would you wear if you lived there?
dude, I was walking around normally because this is the thing too. It was honestly so cold. I was in Florida and it was so cold. It was like 60 degrees. And I was like, shiver me timbers. This sucks. So that did kind of suck, but so much better than here right now. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I hate it. I hate it
Did you
here.
have to get a COVID test to travel?
So this is yeah, that's the whole reason why I want to talk about this is the fact that I got a COVID test and like you're supposed to even get like tested like if you are vaccinated like whatever before you travel and that's what it says on all the websites that you have to show it. And before we like did anything, all the restaurants, we went to Universal, they on their website say that like you're supposed to show some kind of vaccine, anything, like you know, whatever. And I was there, and not one time throughout my entire trip did I get asked for anything COVID related. Like it is insane. Like the only thing that was like a COVID requirement the entire time I was there was that you have to wear masks on the plane. And that's it. That's literally the only thing. And I don't mean this to be like, oh y'all go travel. Y'all free to go do it. Y'all unvaccinated people because like, you know, clearly that's not what I'm saying, but it is like honestly scary. Like you be out here thinking that you're about to get on a plane with all these people who for sure don't have COVID because you got to get a test even if you have a vaccination. And then you're trapped in the crock pot of the plane and you're on your way to Florida and you realize that you might be stuck here for like if I would have gotten COVID like on the plane or like anything like that, then I would have been stuck there for 2 weeks to quarantine because I'm like actually a good person. Like I wouldn't have like traveled back like with COVID. You know what I mean? So like I would have had to
Yeah.
like stay there.
Do you think traveling without a vaccine's a good idea though? Just in general, generally speaking.
I
Not you specifically, but just, you know, in general.
I really do think that it depends on the person, the like place that you're traveling, and you know, like what you're
You're
doing.
going to like the worst hot spot in the country from one of the safest.
Then girl, get vaccinated. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't. This is
That's
like,
great advice, by the way.
shut up. So this is the thing, is that I don't like talking about like the vaccines and stuff because
Mhm.
I really do believe that like people like should get vaccinated because clearly it is like working, but like I don't feel comfortable like telling people like everybody needs to get vaccinated because I really do think that there are like some people who should not, like, and it will like literally not be okay for them. And a couple people, and I don't mean to say this to like scare anybody off, but a couple people like who, and they've all been like older too, who have gotten like the vaccine around me have like had some complications, and like their doctor did confirm that like it's just a side effect of the vaccine, and it's common. But those are things that I
What happened to them?
so a couple people um who are like my mom's friends have like pockets of fluid in like their chest, and like one of my mom's friends has it like under their kneecap or whatever, and it's kind of like turning into something, and like if they don't get it like removed, like it could be like really bad or whatever, but like now they like have to go in all the time to get all this like fluid like drained from like wherever they have it. And like their doctor said like, yeah, like this has been happening, like sometimes there can be like some kind of like buildup and it's like from the vaccine apparently. Or I don't know if they just like noticed it after. Like, well, I don't know what.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like
But it is apparently allegedly, doctor confirmed.
allegedly. Let's use that term for now. My children got their vaccines. My 8 and 5-year-old. No side effects, no pain. I just got a booster a few weeks ago.
I love that for you.
Nothing doing. Everything's fine. No tails, no third eyes,
I don't think that is necessarily the like
no
concern.
heart palpitations. I'm fine. Been like a year.
Love that for you.
No, I'm saying no. I'm not here to tell anybody they should do anything they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Unless it's getting a vaccine, then I'm going to tell you should do it.
Yeah, I think you should. But
it's a personal choice.
But it's a choice, that's how I feel. Yeah. And don't let your family members scare you into either way, because I think that like deep down everybody knows like what's going to be good for them and like what's not. And obviously like there are like some rare cases, like there have been like some like paralyzations and like shit like that, but like not like that doesn't happen with every other vaccine. You know what I mean? It is not just the COVID vaccine. And I think that is like the biggest misconception with like this whole vaccine is that every single vaccine has side effects. Like all of this stuff that is like happening with the COVID vaccine or like any like potential side effects could happen to you from getting the flu vaccine, from getting the shingles fucking shot, from getting literally anything. And like, what are you just gonna not get any kind of vaccine forever? And if that's how you want to live, that's how you want to be earthy, crunchy, just one with, I get it, do you, fam? But honestly, don't bring your kids into this because that is just wrong. Should not be subjecting your kids to that. Anyways.
All right. I just went on a fact check. 3,150 people have not been paralyzed after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. Is that something that you read?
No, I don't think that many people have, but there have literally been like instances. And like I don't mean that it's like a mass amount of people that's like, oh, they're fucking paralyzed, but there have been like a one-off incidents where like a couple people have had like really severe just their bodies just didn't react to it well. And I'm not saying that the government tried to take them out or anything like that, but like
right. But I mean, just so we're clear, not like any sort of long-term paralysis. This was like your body didn't work for a couple of hours after getting the vaccine, and then you're fine. That's what I'm reading right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I also do think that there's like a lot of like misinformation about like the mRNA vaccines and stuff like that and how it's like apparently like a new thing. Those are not new at all. And yeah, that's all I have to say. And also if you are a female under 45, I do not recommend getting the Johnson & Johnson. That's all. I would get the mRNA ones because people say that those are like more risky, but they're like not at all. Like that's just not true. So yeah.
Well, good. That's good. I'm serious. I think that's good. My whole thing is go talk to your doctor. And let your doctor help you decide what's best for you.
Yeah, like I guarantee you that your doctor will be like, really, dude, just go get it. Like, come on. Because that's just like how it is. But like, I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying like, that's just the gag, Oh, I didn't get to see that.
She's spamming a little bit, so I just put her in a little timeout. She's
recap after.
It's just for a few minutes, just until we can get her under control. Always happy to see information, but if we're gonna start spreading things, I'm gonna have to verify that that's factual information. So we're not just gonna just quote people and put stuff out there until we know it's true.
the last thing that well, not really the last thing that I want to talk about, but I guess like most importantly, I kind of just want to talk about the history of Thanksgiving. Find it very interesting that Christopher Columbus and like, you know, people like figures like that have, you know, been, I don't want to say this like as it shouldn't have happened, but like, you know, ripped apart, and like those holidays are like non-existent now because of like all of like the horrible things that like he did. And I don't think that the Pilgrims are very far off from something like that. And like how Thanksgiving versus like how like Columbus Day is like taught in schools is like very different. Like I don't remember learning about, like I don't remember anything other than like these are pilgrims and they sing songs and they're on a boat and they love it and then they got scurvy. That's literally all I heard in that song.
Whoa. That's crazy. Thanksgiving is an odd holiday that was thrown about 225 years after the events they're purported to be celebrating, which weren't realistic. The 38 pilgrims almost starved to death, and the Indians were like, look at these idiots, and they helped them survive the winter. And all that did was allow the pilgrims to eventually call back to England for help, so they could wipe out the Native Americans. So happy Thanksgiving indeed. It's when we got to take the land. Yes.
Shout out to us, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have been in England. Like, we would have been perfectly fine in England. Like, what's the deal? Like, why'd we have to take over? I just don't understand that. Like, why?
Solid question.
Like,
I don't know if we all would have been in England, but I kind of get what you're saying.
We would fit in Europe. If America just like transferred to Europe, I feel like it would work out. Just saying.
It might. Yeah, listen, you know, Thanksgiving's a nice idea. It's a holiday where people take the day off and stuff their faces, and then after they're full, they load themselves with more carbs, and they get drunk and watch football. It is the holiday that most represents America. Gluttony, laziness, and doing it, you know, with family, and that makes everything cool.
I'm gonna be honest, I have a very different Thanksgiving than other people.
Oh yeah, tell us about it.
I just have had horrible Thanksgiving experiences my entire life. Never once has there been a community football game and brewskis happening. Never fun, and very much likely not a lot of family happening. You know, one year on Thanksgiving, I went to the Macy's Day Parade, and it's like, I'm like, that was like genuinely the worst experience of my entire life.
Really? Like, that sounds like white privilege.
I'm so sorry. But it was genuinely the worst experience of my entire life. I would give it up. I would give that experience.
So you're driving into downtown Manhattan.
That's the thing, is that I was not driving. I had to get up at like 3:00 in the morning, and a bus came and picked me up. And
you were in a luxury bus being busted in Manhattan.
That's the thing. I was not on a luxury bus. Matter of fact, that hoe was packed to the brim with people. And I specifically remember there was this girl, and God bless her, she's probably got something wrong with her, but she kept walking up and down the aisles with her bare cheeks out. Her butt, her booty cheeks were out and about, and she had her pants pulled all the way down. She liked it. She was like, my butt is free and living its best life. And it was not just like a little bit of crack action, I can assure you. It was the full moon, baby. Like, she was walking around with no pants on. Coochie freaking booty cheeks out to the whole world, letting them see it. And I was like, just trapped on this bus for like 3 hours at like 3:00 in the morning with booty cheek McGee over here. Are you kidding me? That was not a privileged experience for me. And then it was like negative 700 degrees out in the, I was working for my damn life. Couldn't even breathe. It's horrible. Worst experience of my entire life. Awful.
I had a lovely time in Manhattan a couple of years ago at a parade. just like the one you were at on Thanksgiving Day. And it was cold, but I'm not going to complain about it because how lucky I was to be staying in a penthouse in Manhattan to enjoy the
I did
biggest
not
parade in
say
the
that.
world.
It was quick.
No, I get it. Yeah. So do you don't have Thanksgiving with your family? Is that not a thing? Where do you
No.
go to the soup kitchen?
Well,
No, I mean like to volunteer your time, not to eat.
you might, yeah, you might catch me eating there. These gas prices, dude, I'm telling you, I can't afford to live. I'm like, you might.
Do you do your family must you guys must get a turkey? No?
I don't see a bird in this fridge.
Like a ham? Maybe there's a ham?
I
Like a
don't.
fresh ham, maybe a canned ham. Do you guys don't celebrate Thanksgiving?
Well, like, I am the most picky eater that you'll ever meet in your entire life. Like, I won't eat anything. I'm going to my boyfriend's family's house tomorrow, so I'm actually getting like some kind of like family experience. Like, it's gonna be very weird and unusual for me because, like, I'm like, I don't have one of those. Yeah, I'm like, wow, grandparents. I've never seen those in real life before.
Well, that'll be nice. What a wonderful experience. You'll really be able to take in the full essence of the holiday.
Yeah, I will be. So it'll be great. But he's making a mac and cheese, especially for me, because that's the only thing that I'll eat. Like I don't eat anything. Like Thanksgiving is absolutely horrible for me because I'm like, can we please stop at McDonald's on the way home?
What is it that you don't like about Thanksgiving? The delicious turkey?
I don't eat that.
The wonderfully flavored stuffing?
Girl, I do not eat that. I do not eat any of that. And it's just like, I
No.
get it. I get it. I'm missing out on life in the American tradition. One year I thought I was going to eat a mac and cheese. I thought it was like shelled mac and cheese. Guess what it was? A pearled onion. I remember that. Oh, I could
Oh.
throw up right now. I had a pearled mother loving onion because I thought it was mac and cheese. I hate Thanksgiving, man.
I would just want to put this out there. Lasagna and manicotti don't belong on a Thanksgiving menu.
Dude, no. Like it's just not right.
Yeah.
So
Nope. You don't need a pasta dish when you're eating like a 6-course Thanksgiving meal
or
with all the
pearled
helpings.
onions, dude. You don't need a cream sauce pearled onion moment. I can't do it. I can't deal with it. I don't. So this year, hopefully it'll be better. I'm gonna eat my mac and cheese and maybe a cookie. So it'll be great, whatever. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Last thing that I kind of wanted to touch on, don't fight with your families this year. It ain't worth it. You're not gonna sway any of their decisions, and it ain't worth it. Don't fight them. Because genuinely, are they convincing you? No, Buster, they're not. So you ain't convincing them either. I really hate to tell you. They're sitting there all day. They love Tucker Carlson and they love Joel Osteen. So you can't change their mind. And that's just how it is. And you could be gay when you go home. You could be living, loving, learning your best scientific in real life. You're actually on this planet world. You could do that when you go back home. But when you are at your auntie's house, if they survived COVID, because, if they're starting fights, then they probably are unvaccinated and didn't even make it. But if you are fortunate enough to still have your family that is Republican, don't start fights with them because you're not going to win.
I spoke to a 19-year-old guy today who told me he was wearing a Donald Trump sweatshirt to Thanksgiving.
Love that for him. He's just he's an instigator. He's a menace to society. That's like me. I'm a menace to society, but that is real not okay.
I told him he's quickly becoming a crazy uncle. That's how it starts.
It is how it starts. So
crazy uncle starts with a funny sweatshirt. Next thing you know, you're like, get off my lawn.
He's gonna be all red. He's gonna be red. He's just just so red,
I'm just thinking, why this close to Christmas would you purposely piss off people that might give you stuff?
I know, right? That's why I'm like, I got blonde hair for this season. I'm not even looking like a freak show. So maybe I'll come back and they'll be like, oh my God, she's changed. She's different. You know what? Maybe that's why I didn't get anything in my birthday card. You know what I'm saying? So picking and choosing my battles wisely this year.
I like that. Good for you. See, you're maturing.
Mm-hmm. Period. So I'm out now.
Oh my God.
I'm wearing a t-shirt tomorrow that says unvaccinated and ready to talk politics at Thanksgiving. Oh my God, you got balls, dude. I ain't got time
That's
for that.
hilarious. Happy Thanksgiving, the sketchy peasant.
Happy Thanksgiving to Sketchy Peasant. Shout out to you. We love you. If anything that we're thankful for is you, dude. You're keeping this afloat. Woo. Are you familiar with White Claw Gabe?
No. Tell me more.
Just Google him. Like, just watch him. Like, just love White Claw Gabe. You know? I don't know. I just feel like you would like him, maybe. He's so fun. He's on TikTok. He just had his 50th birthday party. And dude,
Sounds
I
fabulous.
can't even explain it to you. Just you'll have to see it for yourself. And then you'll understand when I go, fuck, baby, fuck. It's the weekend. Ooh. And you'll get it and you'll want to say it too. You'll be like, oh my God, this is my new catchphrase and I love it. So we could have that. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye. And happy Black Friday. That's the real holiday of this weekend. Black Friday was canceled last year, but I'm going. Thank you.